San Francisco's Golden Gate Park is over 1,000 acres of fun in the sun, right smack dab in the middle of San Francisco's Richmond and Sunset districts. You could visit here a bajillion times and never fully explore it. In this part 2 of my Golden Gate Park series, we indulge in fall delights. The Music Concourse, which is located in between the Cal Academy of Sciences and the DeYoung Museum, hosts free regular Sunday concerts. And Speedway Meadow is the home to 2 major music festivals in the fall: Outside Lands Rock Music Festival in August and Hardly Strictly Bluegrass in October. Back in the mid-1800s, this whole part of western San Francisco was a mess of sand dunes and completely uninhabitable. It was called Outside Lands, and it was a stretch of no man's land outside of the city limits. Think Coachella. When the Outside Lands event organizers kicked off the festival in 2008, they wanted it to be all about San Francisco. So the naming was a nod to Golden Gate's history. And the food is also everything Bay Area. This year they had Taste of the Bay food trucks, Winelands and Beerlands tents for local barrels and brews, the bubble tea party area, cause, well, the Bay Area is the OG of bubble tea out here in the US. Cheeselands, celebrating our marin heritage of dairy and cheese making. And Outside Clams, featuring the best Tamales Bay shellfish. This is also the 2nd year of Grasslands, honoring the legalization of cannabis with some very inventive products. Also arts, crafts, a whole lineup of cooking exhibits being taught by local celebrity chefs, and world-class comics like Tony Danza and Jimmy O. Yang. But of course, everybody's there for the music, and it's got one of the biggest lineups of hot recording artists. This year, they featured Childish Gambino, the Lumineers, Casey Musgraves, Lil Wayne, and Paul Simon, just to name a few. It is not cheap. A 3-day pass is gonna run you about $400. But if you're a regular festival goer, it's right up there with Lollapalooza, Austin City Limits, and Coachella. They're also pretty strict about allowing people to videotape inside, so sorry, you get to watch me walk around for 3 minutes talking about the festival instead. Then at the beginning of October, there's the Hardly Strictly Bluegrass Festival, which is free. Let me say that again. It's free, which is incredible given how expensive this city is. And the good thing is they let you videotape. So I'm going to take you guys in and let's check it out. Again, for free, the artist lineup is pretty incredible. They've got Robert Plant, Kronos Quartet, Tanya Tucker, and Judy Collins. So I ran into these 2 guys at the Japanese Tea Garden, and they're going to come along with me to check out the festival. Jose and Flor from España.
Hola amigos, ¿qué tal?
Feeling a little peckish from all that dancing, so let's go do some noshing. Since this is bluegrass, we're on a southern kick, starting with tall glasses of watermelon juice. This place looks super interesting for some waffles and chicken. This is a popular southern breakfast specialty combining 2 soul food faves: savory fried chicken and sweet syrupy waffles dusted with powdered sugar. A little bit of the maple syrup here, and some hot sauce. Biscuits are another southern staple. Today, we're getting a pulled pork biscuit sandwich. If you've never had American biscuits before, they're soft and doughy like a bread roll, but way dense like a scone. Here we're pairing it with another southern specialty, pulled pork, a slow smoked pork shoulder that is then shredded and served in a barbecue sauce. The fixings on top are a tasty vinegar-based coleslaw and a drizzle of tangy house BBQ sauce. Yeehaw! Tasty! The pulled pork is succulent and there's a nice bite and acidity. A great way to round off the festivities. And finally, no autumn is complete without some leaf peeping. And a great place to do this is at the Japanese tea garden in the eastern half of the park. Because San Francisco tends to have really long Indian summers, the best time to come is the end of October, November timeframe. This particular Japanese tea garden, or Chaniwa, was first developed for the 1894 World Expo and then later became the home to landscape gardener Makoto Hagiwara, who spent a personal fortune developing this garden according to Japanese traditions, often importing materials directly from Japan. There is a small admission fee here. As of today, it's $10, and you can actually get in free if you arrive between 9 and 10 when it opens first thing in the morning. And if you have a California library card, you can participate in their Discover and Go program and get the admission complimentary, but you do have to reserve in advance and print out the ticket and bring it with you. Stop first at the Tsukubai, a boat-shaped water basin, to purify yourself before you continue. It's located to the right of the gift shop as you face it. Traditionally, you want to move clockwise, so we're going to head towards the Taiko Bridge. It was handcrafted in Japan by master builder Shinichi Nakata and shipped over here to the US for the fair. It's based off of a Chinese bridge design resembling half of a drum, and when seen with this reflection, completes an entire taiko drum. Sometimes also called a moon bridge because it kind of looks like a moon. The first Japanese tea gardens were created in the 1500s to host Buddhist tea ceremonies, which were very elaborate and formal affairs. It was believed that the tea had certain health benefits and that the participant could reach enlightenment by looking out over the beautiful gardens with its religious elements as they sip their tea. Japanese gardens are representational of large landscapes shrunk into miniature. Rocks represent mountains and islands. Gravel represent water, and the plants are the forests in miniature. Scattered throughout the landscape are these man-made decorative elements. Usually you'll have several of these stonework lanterns. If this was a functioning shrine, you'd actually be burning offerings and incense in this. Most also have to have a decorative pagoda. This fancy Chinese style one here was created for the 1915 Pan-Pacific Expo and moved here after the expo closed down. They're usually not this lavish. This one is more like it. The traditional 5-pier pagoda with each tier representing each one of the 5 Buddhist elements: earth, air, water, fire, and spirit. This 9,000-pound bronze lantern of peace was donated by school children in Japan to commemorate the friendship between the US and Japan upon the signing of the treaty at the end of World War II. There's also religious symbolism. Usually sand and gravel are white to represent purity, and it's also a place in the garden where deities can land and enjoy the gardens with us. Usually Japanese gardens don't include statuary like this, but this was donated in the 70s by Gump San Francisco department store, which, by the way, used to be my favorite department store in Union Square until they closed down just this past November. Bummer. But that makes this very uniquely San Francisco. There's a small tea house here that's also a remnant of the World Expo, and you can stop in here for some traditional refreshments. Incidentally, this is also where the fortune cookie, yes, the Chinese fortune cookie, was popularized, and you'll still get a couple with your order. Here at the tea house, you can order some beverages and snacks. The Hagiwaras ran the tea house themselves until World War II, when all the Japanese Americans were interned. After that, the city refused to return the property back to the family, and so this tea house was alternately run first by Chinese and then by Caucasian management, and that kind of really eroded the authentic experience here. Recently, though, the management has been returned back into Japanese hands, and they've really come a long way in reestablishing the traditional tea ceremony and more authentic snacks. For my contemplation today, I've got a hojicha, which is a roasted tea, and some traditional arare, which are Japanese rice crackers. Some are wrapped in nori or seaweed, and of course, because the fortune cookie is so tied into the history of this tea house, we have to have some fortune cookies with our order. Spring is another awesome season to come. Mid-March through April, the cherry blossoms are in full bloom, and it's an excellent way to experience sakura without actually having to fly to Japan. And that's a wrap. Thanks for rocking with me today on this epic adventure, and hope you found something delightful in this fall in the Golden Gate Park. Until next time, peace out.